Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. It's about 4 o'clock now and it's a bit dark now. And I've just put my heating on. I'm sitting with I've got this heat pad thing on my neck because I've just put my heating on because I put the heating on when it gets dark because that's when the house starts. You sort of notice the difference in the temperature in the house once it's dark because there's no light or sun. I don't think we've had much sun today anyway. But I am now on to the second sleeve on Carol's cardigan. Haven't done a lot of knitting today. I thought seeing as I'm just getting back to normal, my hand's okay and everything now, and it was just a silly twist. It was nothing. It's nothing actually wrong. It was just a silly twist when I was trying to get the top of that flask that I was telling you about. But I found I will show you the top that was in mine. That's the top that's in my flask, and it screws on. This part here is the only part that actually goes into the opening. This part is just where it screws on, and there's get it open. There's a little opening. I suppose to say that for putting sugar or milk or something like that in if you want it, but I could never get that off my flask. There's nothing to grip on there, and when I used to I kept trying like this and then using my other hand, and I think I must have just twisted my hand the wrong way. But I found this one here. This is off an old flask, and as you can see there's like a button in the middle and that, and I thought, well, looking at this, the width of that, it's going to be far too small, but it fits in because this is just down here. This is a part that goes into the actual opening, the lower down part opening of the flask. So this is quite okay. So I tried it in and I pushed it hard. And when you push it in, you press that button there, the outside part, like that, and it forces these pieces together, so it pushes them out. So the rubber, it's like rubber around it, and it pushes against the sides of the flask. So it worked, and all I have to do is press that button in the middle and that opens it and it just comes out. So my flask is great now. And something I have noticed, I have just poured my last cup of tea. I make a pot of tea in the morning. I'm going to have a drink of this. I'm not one of those, I don't like to make cups of tea with a tea bag in the cup. I like a teapot. And that's why I make a full teapot, have 1 cup out of it and put the rest in the flask, and I've got another 3 cups because it holds 4 cups altogether, but I've got another 3 cups for later on in the day. And something I've noticed since I used that other top today, I poured my last cup of tea is usually round about now, and it's usually only just warm. It's not really hot, but that tea is still quite hot. So that top is much better for that flask than the other one. It keeps the tea hotter. So I will be using that. That top is just a small thin flask. It only holds a couple of cups, I think, something like that. So I'm not really bothered about having to use it on the other one. I never take a flask out anyway, but so that was a little bit of help, something helpful I found out today. And my hand is quite all right, so everybody's been mentioning it in comments. I haven't answered a lot of the comments because I've been busy on my computer doing a lot of things today. I haven't had time to go through all the comments, but I've just noticed, having a look at 1 or 2 of them, and they're all mentioning, you know, about what I had said about my hand. And my hand is quite all right. It's not stopping me knitting now. It was only for a couple of days. It was sort of painful the way it went into, I don't know if it was a spasm or what. It's probably just through the arthritis I've got in my hands. But that knitting actually helps me with arthritis, because if I wasn't knitting, my hands would be stiff. Because they were starting to get a little bit stiff because I didn't do as much knitting with my hand the way it was. But it's okay now anyway. But I did a little bit crochet this morning because I thought I finished that that little cardigan and that hat, which I was doing in the morning. I have a couple of other things to do. Rhiannon asked me to do, well, she said a couple of sweaters, Christmassy sweaters or cardigans for her two little girls. So I'm going to do a couple of sweaters. I found a pattern I think I have, and it'll have a small like reindeer's head on the front. I'm going to have a go at that. Little sweaters. Maybe it's in the Aran, what I've got left of the Aran, because I bought quite a bit of the Aran for that cardigan and hat that I did. But anyway, I was doing a bit crochet this morning, and I thought, I haven't been doing these I've had that many other things to do, and I thought I need to get some of these done for Christmas. So I've done a set of 4 coasters here. And I just put them up onto Etsy. I think I've got 3 sets up there on Etsy, I think, that I've done. And yeah, and then I was sorting out AB, putting the other coasters that I got off Emma. I've been sorting those out today as well, taking old photos of them, and I've had them away, you know, a few days now, but I haven't gotten round to sorting them out. So I've took a few photos of those and put those ones up onto AB, because I'm selling Emma's at half the price I sell my own, because I'm not making a profit out of what she makes. So I'll just get a little bit out of it. So I don't want mine at my price and then Emma's at her price, and everybody want to know why those ones are cheaper than the other ones. So there's 3 on Etsy and 3 on eBay. And that's what I have been doing today. And I did a little swatch. We have it here. This is Val. This is for Val to see. She asked me to do a cardigan for her mum, who's quite elderly. I think she said she's 90 something. And she asked for like light grey. But I've had a look in like to do it in Aran. I can't really find a nice light grey in the Aran. I have had a look around 1 or 2 of the shops, the only shops that's around me, and I can't find a nice one. So what I have done, if this is all right with you, Val, I would probably send you an email and send you a picture of this. I have mixed this grey that I'm knitting here. It seems quite fine, this. I'm not even sure whether this is double knitting. This is the Majestic that, it says double knitting on the label, but I'm sure it's not as thin as 4-ply. It could be about a 5-ply, something like that. So I thought if I mixed a strand of this with a strand of off-white, which is what I've done, I've mixed those 2 together, because this is the same kind of wool as this. I don't know if I have a label for it somewhere, but oh yeah, I have a label here. This is the Majestic. Now it does say double knitting on there, but I swear it's not double knitting. It seems quite fine, and the white is the same. It's hard to really tell, you know, you're looking at it on here. But I did a swatch using the 2 strands together, and I thought it would make a nice like mould effect. And it's not brilliant white, it's like a creamy white and off-white. And it has like a nice effect. It looks really light. And this was a pattern that Val said that to do. So I just did a swatch using, as if it was Aran. I've used 5mm needles, and the thickness and everything's right. So I'm sure this is not double knitting. I think it's probably like a 5-ply or something, but it doesn't tell you on the label. It just says double knitting, mixed fibre, which I don't know what the mixed fibre is, but I don't think there's wool in it, because it would make my hands itchy if there was wool in it. And it says 4mm needle, and it does knit up all right on, because I've been knitting this one for Carol with the 4mm needles, but it just does not feel that thick. It does not tell me how many meters is in this ball. It just says 100 grams, 40-degree wash. That's all it tells you. It doesn't tell you anything else on the how many meters is in it, or yards, or whatever people measure it by. So that's what I'm probably going to do. I'm going to take a little photo of the actual swatch. That'll, you can see it's very much, you put it against mine, it's very much lighter than my, it is like a real silver, a light silver grey. And this is a deeper, my sweater is a deeper grey than this one that I'm knitting. But it does knit up like Aran, using 2 strands. In Aran is 10, there are 10 strands. Like with double knitting there's 8 strands, with Aran there is 10 strands. So I'd swear this is more like a 5-ply or something like that. I don't think you can even buy 5-ply these days. You used to be able to get 5-ply years ago, and I know it was a little bit thicker than 4-ply. It was in between 4-ply and double knitting, but I'm not absolutely certain. But this is knitting up very well as Aran, so that's what I would probably do with that. The only other places I can get any wool is to send away for stuff, and the post is just terrible. As I'm still waiting for a parcel that was supposed to be sent to me from Wool Warehouse by Derek. That must have been lost in the post, so I'm very dubious about sending for anything, because they did send it by Royal Mail. So I'm getting a bit dubious about ordering anything online with the postage the way it is, because I'm going to be on strike a lot in the next few days, in the next coming weeks actually, right up till Christmas. Put that down there and that down there. So that's what I'm doing, a little bit of this. Get the other sleeve done, and then I can start putting the cardigan together, put the neck on, and then I can start stitching it up. But I discovered another little trick. What I have done to stop me, because I like my own coasters that I make, and I like them on my table. And I've got one here. This cup here, you can't see the bottom because it's full. I can't tip it up. But this was one of the ones that made, it's got a very broad rim across the bottom, quite deep, this, and it makes this one made 1 or 2 marks on my table. But I've discovered something. I'm using a single. This is the Aran, but it wouldn't make any difference whether it was in Aran or double knitting, because this is what I have done to show you. I'll put my drink over there where there's a thing. I have just crocheted across here something for the hold. This is a bit of an old mouse mat that I don't use anymore, and I just made it, I cut the shape of the cup out the bottom, and then I can just slip it in here, and that's on my table like that, so it doesn't leave any mark at all on the table because the heat doesn't go through. So that's, if anyone has got the coasters and they want to do something like that, it's just, I just attached the yarn at one side and crocheted a chain across to the other side, and then stitched it down that side, and then made a one down the bottom so that the thing doesn't fall out when you put it in. And I have 4 of those. I got 4 of those out of the mouse mat, so I can use other ones. You know, I'm going to do that with some of my other coasters, do a thing. So that was handy. Just an idea that came to me because I was sick of ruining my coffee table with cups. So that's me settled for now. I'm going to be up shortly, probably about another hour, and sort some tea out for myself, and then I'll be sitting knitting. Doing what I can of this knitting. Oh, and I forgot as well. You know, I'm not watching what I'm doing. The blanket, this is for one of the blankets, the doll's pram blankets I've got for Carol. It was the same as that other one I did a little while ago. You know, we just fold the top down when you put it in the pram, have the top folded down like that with a little bit frill on it. The way we used to have our pram blankets for our babies, that's the way they used to be years ago. I don't think they do them like that now. But that's a little pram blanket, and it measures 20 inches from the top to the bottom there and 14 inches across, and I knit it sideways. It's just garter stitch. I just knit it sideways. I think I had 50 stitches on. This is that, I don't know, I have a little bit of that wool somewhere. I got from Aldi's. It's like chenille, something like that, I think you call it. And I used 7mm needles, and I put 50 stitches on the needle, and I just kept knitting sideways until it was the length I thought was about right. But I have crocheted around the edge, so there's probably about 1.5 inches with the crochet around the edge. So I probably knit it until it was about 12.5 inches, and then cast the stitches off, and then I just done a double crochet all the way around from one end, from where the end where I cast off. I just left the wool on and crocheted all the way around, and then done another row of double crochet across the top, and then done like the little frill, and that's all it is to it. It didn't take very long. I didn't do it all in one day because I had been doing little bits of other things as well, and I'd done little bits when I had time. But I have another one of those to make for Carol as well, so that's one done, and I'll be getting the other one done pretty soon. That was something else I nearly forgot about. I finished that last night. I finished a little bit of that. It was last night. It was about tea time, I think it was, after I had my tea. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all another time. And bye for now.